a journalist from a media named Reader, and Reader focuses on data journalism. Many of my colleagues are web engineers and designers, so we hope to present news in different ways. For my profession, in simple terms, can be understood as a journalist who know how to code. I usually analyze large amount of data using programming languages. In my career, networking has always been a crucial thing. Making different friends is basically part of my job. And my reporting often involves international issues, and I found it very fascinating to meet people from diverse culture backgrounds. So I think it's really important for journalists because it prevents you from being limited to a narrow perspective. The news industry is indeed going through a big transformations, and that's the reason why I became a data journalist too. The current state of journalism is quite different from what I learned in school. While the traditional method of doing news, we need to be hard work, do deep investigation, they are still relevant, but we also need to learn how to analyze vast amount of data available online because now everything is on the internet. This change, of course, comes with big challenge. Information manipulation, privacy concerns, political or commercial influence on news, and also the fundamental issue that fewer people need news nowadays. So although Taiwan has better freedom of press compared to other countries, but our media landscape has our own problems. So that's precisely why I applied. I want to participate in this seminar because I'm immersed in these issues every day. I have to say it's really tough to point out specific experience from the journey because the entire trip was so unforgettable. I've participated in a seminar event in the past, but I've never had such a deep connection with people like this. We were around 20 participants, but by the end of the 2 weeks, you truly knew everyone. We talked about our work, shared our life, our interest, and every discussion on the topic was incredibly engaging. And I have to say, Gummersbach was really such a special place, a beautiful little town. I mean, if it wasn't for this seminar, I probably would have never thought of going there in my life. Except for a few days in Berlin, we spent most of our time there with various seminar activities and night chatting in the dorms bar. It was a unique time for me. As a journalist, I deal with high pressure work every day. But being in such an entirely foreign environment, somehow I felt comforting. It was like being dropped into a wonderful place, leaving behind the usual worries of daily life temporarily. As I mentioned, networking was the most valuable thing for me. And also we discussed a lot for the theme of freedom of press from different angles and sharing the situation in different countries. And while Taiwan's media industry has its own problem, compared to other countries like Mexico, South Asia, and South America, journalists there face serious dangers just doing their job. Government heavily interfere the news content. I mean, I knew about these things before, but hearing the first-hand experience from people who really live there was truly eye-opening. Like we had a colleague from Ukraine, and despite Ukraine is close to Germany, due to the ongoing war, he couldn't fly, so he had to take more than 20 hours on a bus and then a train to get there. And he shared a lot about how to report news in the war. It's really precious for me. In our group, not everyone was a journalist. Some were lawyers, some were professors. Everyone was involved in important job related to democracy, and it was amazing to get to know such a diverse and impactful group. This seminar was like that. It went beyond the superficial. Of course, I had a general understanding that freedom of press is really fragile and that many countries usually encounter turmoil. But after those 2 weeks, these things was not just a piece of news, but became the real story that happens on my friends.